we do not have a backup public service answering point. And that is something we need now. Again, you gave what you feel perhaps is an update, but I don't think that that's an excuse. I think that we have to be more proactive about it. I know that it's been probably a year, and I keep waiting and being patient, and all the time the increase in calls coming in means tripling the number of calls going out till we dispatch fire, ambulance, police, if we have to call in the utilities, whatever.
If you'd have read the triennial plan, you would have seen there is no increase in calls.
If I may continue.
Go ahead.
Thank you. There has been an increase of calls beyond our capacity. It is not safe. And in addition, we were also told at that time that the City of Lebanon and Fort Indiantown Gap were considering giving us their duties for dispatch. And that is something we cannot refuse. We have a situation where the basement floods, and we're waiting for a disaster to happen if we don't move ahead with the public service answering point backup. I've also become aware that the basement of the Lebanon County Current Technology Center is available, and it would be prudent for us to go and visit that. And I've been waiting for you to provide that as part of the alternative, but I haven't heard it. So I raised the issue today and ask us to please go look at that and see if it's a viable alternative that would be no build. It would save us money. We could get a fiber optic line or whatever there a lot cheaper than having to run it to Palmyra. I think Palmyra is very generous in their offer, but if we can save the cost of the building and running the lines to the system and overall saving the taxpayers money, I think we should look at this option. And I'm recommending that we do that. I make a motion, if I have to, that we go look at this site. There's no obligation to look at it.
We've already discussed it, both Jamie, Dan, and myself, about that, and we're again trying to get some costs. We don't have a cost. We don't know if it's more expensive or less expensive, and we're not necessarily looking at fiber optic as the means to get the signals from one point to another. So.
The point is, we can go look at it. That doesn't cost anything.
Well,
and then if we're not satisfied, then we just continue with the plan we have. But then we're all going to get involved, and we're going to be a little more forceful in getting some of this information you say you can't get. If you need help, let's all help. Let's pitch in, roll up our sleeves. But in the interim, I think we should go look at the site at the CTC has to offer. And if we can save money doing that, we should do it.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Do you have anything else to add?
Well, I don't know. It would seem to me that you could almost bid this project. We haven't put it out in bid. Write what you want, put it out for bid, and see what you get.
Right, but
she's talking about a different location than what we were talking about.
If we would look at that, if we can look at that and then say, yes, we want this, or no, we don't, and then continue with the other plan, then I agree. Let's put it out on bid. There are options here that are not being looked at. But I think we have to get this all
I looked at a lot of options, and you didn't look at any. That's exactly right. Put that on your YouTube. I did a lot of research into this project before I made my presentation. And we have been working diligently to try to get cost analysis to do this. And which is the best way to do it? Do we go microwave? Do we go fiber optic? And, it's not a quick process. You got to do it right, or you're going to have a mess. And we are doing what we can to get it correct. I'd be happy to put it out for bid at some point. First of all, we go with North Londonderry. They will do the structural work for us at below, what's the proper term? Prevailing wage prices. And we'll have a permanent structure of our own. We don't have to worry about the changes in the school board and their attitudes toward it.
Well, you have supervisors that change.
Yes, they can, but I have a lot more faith in the supervisors of North Londonderry, even if they make changes, than I do with the constant changing of school directors throughout the county, which all have a say in this matter. So there's nothing wrong with looking at the school.
Is that a second?
No, it isn't. I'm not going to second a motion to do that. We can do that without a motion.
Okay, then let's do it. Let's set up a date and time.
No, I'm not ready to do that, and, till I talk to.
That's stonewalling.
No, that isn't stonewalling.
That's, if you think it's a good idea, let's do it. Let's not
I-
play politics. Let's do
Well, you're
it.
the one that plays politics all the time. You wouldn't put this nonsense on the,
This is a
internet.
public meeting. This is not nonsense. This is serious
Yeah.
business. We're dealing with the safety of our
You
residents,
come in and
Larry.
complain, but you have nothing constructive to offer.
I'm offering something constructive. You're not listening.
We've already discussed it. We've
Going-
been discussing it.
You didn't discuss it with the other
No,
commissioners.
You're exactly right, because Walgamuth and Kaufman and I have been working on it.
And what's the matter with us being involved with this? To find out that we can go look at the CTC and save money.
Well, the three
You're
of you
not-
aren't gonna make the decision.
I
As long as you
understand.
understand that.
I certainly
It's
do
gonna be the
understand
three
it.
of us,
Right.
or maybe the next board,
That's
the way
right.
it's going, because
That's right.
at some point, I'm not gonna vote on it.
And in fact, why don't we invite all of the candidates that are running to go along down and look at the CTC? Let them be, you know, at least in on it, because they're
I
gonna.
don't think the candidates, quite honestly, have much understanding of any of this.
But this is an educational process,
go
an
look at a
opportunity.
room?
Well, sure. Then they know what they're paying
Well, there's
for.
4 walls and a door, Joellen.
But is the ceiling high enough? Is the electricity sufficient? I mean, the panels. There's things that we have to look at.
And you're qualified to do that, right?
Well, I think we take along our trained staff with us to help us.
Well, they're not gonna know what the energy requirements are of this. We haven't figured it out.
Well, I think Dan has information, or I think our building and grounds personnel have that information and skill. I think we can do this, Larry. All we have to do is walk in the door and look.
Well, I think we never set up a date to do that.
Why don't we do that?
Well, we asked Dan to set it up.
We did?
Yeah. Well, he and I did a while back.
Well,
I
don't.
was waiting for him to set it up.
Again, if it doesn't take a motion, fine, but let's go look at it.
You can go down any time that you want. Your husband works there.
I think that it would be appropriate if we all go to look.
Doesn't bother me who looks at it.
Would you please ask Dan to set up a
Wasn't
date?
there a problem with going down at that end? Because we talked about going
Well-
to the 4th floor of Cedar Haven.
Right. The problem, what you have to do if you stay in the Lebanon telephone
Right.
exchanges, you have to get the signals from another
Right.
exchange. You can't run the tandems through the same thing, because if the exchange goes down, then you lose it.
I think that was disproven.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. In fact, the tandems didn't work the other week when they were supposed to. And we didn't have 911 service to part of Lebanon County. And it had nothing to do with our center or it had not having a backup center. But what you're saying is absolutely correct. So you would have to run lines or a microwave shot from one of the other exchanges so that you don't have that problem. And that's why North Londonderry is so desirable, because it's out of a floodplain. It's in a different weather zone pretty much for the most part. It's only a little over a mile from the Palmyra Exchange, which is the second largest exchange in Lebanon County, larger than the Mayorstown Exchange. And it's right next to one of our towers. And we can get the signals to the towers that we need by simply upgrading a little equipment at the base of the Grantville site and the North Londonderry site, and probably upstairs there. That is a very economical way. And then we can put a center up that'll meet our specifications, that we can expand it if needed, and have a nice site that is remote from here.
Well, it sounds like everything's been decided, pretty much. Why don't we bid it? That's my question.
Well, I
Well,
don't have a problem with that, but I would like to go look at this alternate site, which would be no build first, and then if that doesn't suit, then let's put it out for bid.
I'm not opposed to looking at it. I mean,
Would you ask Dan to set up a date, please?
I already did. I'm still waiting for it.
Officially from the 3 commissioners, would you please ask? Thank you.
All 3 are going?
Doesn't matter to me who goes, Jamie. You can go up and look at North Londonderry if you like. What might be cheaper in the
Well, why
short?
don't you just do it the next Cedar Haven meeting we go over from
Well, we can do that.
between the Cedar Haven and the prison?
See if they'll do that.
Okay.
It's not a bad idea.